Yes.
Yung Sian online citizen, as you have resigned from SPH and GIC, how much money have you lost in terms of average remuneration a year by sacrificing and taking this step to stand as president?
Let me just say that I've always regarded service in government and in the public sector as an honor and a privilege, not as a career move or to be measured in terms of how much money you may make or you may lose. There is a salaries review committee now which has been set up under the chairmanship of Mr. Gerardi, who is reviewing salaries of political office holders, including the president. I believe that I'm confident that they will come to a wise decision, and I will accept that decision. Right.
I'm Elgin from the Straits Times. The last presidential election campaign that we had in 1993 was a fairly muted affair. There were no political rallies and very limited campaigning. Have you drawn up plans for your own campaign? Are you going to be holding rallies? And can you tell us other things about your campaign strategy or plans?
Well, I think the details of the campaign will be revealed in due course, but I will just say in general, I think as Deputy Prime Minister Teo Chee Hean has said, the campaign for the presidency has to be different from the campaign for the members of parliament. I mean, it has to be, in my view, to be a dignified affair. We should not let the campaign become personal. I would hope that in this presidential contest that it will be conducted in accordance with the dignity of the office of the presidency.
Dr. Tan, for me from Berita Harian. Now that you're out from the PAP and you soon become the president, unifier of the people, what are some of the immediate, some of the public policies that you think need immediate review for the benefit for the people at large?
I think that the government is presently reviewing all the policies, and I believe that it is not the responsibility of the president to try and suggest changes in policy. That is a job of the government, not of the president. Obviously, the president will have his own views, and if the government of the day feels that views may be helpful, then of course the president will be free to offer his views. But I want to stress again, there is only one power center in Singapore, and that is the government of the day. The presidency is not a second power center in Singapore and should not be a second power center to rival the government. Otherwise, there will be chaos. And it is up to the government to see how the policies can be executed, what policies are needed, because they have to go to the people every 5 years in order to renew their mandate. I believe the present government is doing this, as you can see, very vigorously and in a very energetic way. Yes, there's a few last questions.
Dr. Tan, what are your views, Joshua from the Online Citizen? What are your views that the elected president ultimately does not have the power to decide on presidential pardons?
Sorry?
What are your views that the elected president ultimately doesn't have the power to decide on presidential pardons?
Presidential pardons?
Yes, for death penalty cases.
Oh, I see. Well, I think it is spelled out quite clearly in the Constitution that for example, in the issues like the granting of pardons or commuting of sentences, the President has to act on the advice of the Cabinet. Each time this arises, it is an enormous complex responsibility. So I think that is why I believe that the President has to be compassionate, deliberate, thorough by nature before we can make a wise decision on each of these difficult issues. Right?
Any last questions? Lydia?
One last one, perhaps.
Many of your views are consistent or in line with views expressed by the government, including DPM, TO. I mean, that might lead to some skepticism that among some Singaporeans that you are not like a government-backed candidate. I'd like to ask you how you think that might affect your chances at the polls.
I must say what I believe, and I must say what I think is good for Singapore. If it happens to coincide with some of the views expressed by ministers, well, it's up to the people of Singapore to judge, but I don't think there is a job of the presidential candidate to express contradictory views for the sake of just being different. I don't think that is likely to advance the future of Singapore and Singaporeans. All right, can I just sort of, before we end, just say a few words on my thoughts and the main points of my candidacy. First of all, I would like to make it very clear, in response to the last question, that I am running as an independent candidate in this election without seeking the backing of any political party. I know that this will be a difficult election. I'm taking a risk, but I believe that I have a responsibility to step forward and to contest the elections in the light of the complex challenges which Singapore faces today. And going ahead is a difficult world. The President will have to make significant decisions which will require a steady hand, experience, the ability to work with the government or political parties, and also to represent the country internationally, which is a very important responsibility of the President, as well as to look after the future of Singaporeans here at home. And finally, let me say that I believe that the President must be above politics. He must work with the government, he must work with all political parties, he must work with all civil service or civil society groups, and do his part to heal divisions in our society, whether these divisions be political divisions or economic divisions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.